right. This is new for me. I am live on Instagram as well as creating for my YouTube channel, which I feel super called to continue creating on. And I feel like the only way I feel like I can consciously flow with anything on Instagram and Facebook is to do lives. So that's what I'm gonna do. Um, today, today, the past week, um, have had some themes. The continuation of the descent, the year of the snake, that deep descent, y'all. The Lunar New Year doesn't start until the 29th. So if you haven't quite felt like 2025 has really started for you yet, there's probably a reason why. Yin energy, Shakti energy, divine feminine energy, a moon year is still something that we're in until the 29th. Gracie Lou. And yeah, that's another big theme. Embracing imperfection, that perfection doesn't exist. Um, right now I've got my doggos here, and at any time they could bark, at any time they could tear up my blankets. Um, they're chilling with me, and that's life, right? Um, yeah. So embracing imperfection, embracing the fact that you are the gift and that it's in our imperfections that allow us to shine our brightest. Like, truly, I feel like as I continue to shed this pressure that I had on myself to just like be someone specific, it's like, no, 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 no. I can just be me. I can just be me. And that's a freeing feeling as I see 222. I'm most in alignment when I feel like I can just be me. So, yeah. So a few different things. I got my notebook here. Um, I didn't feel called to pull tarot. Um, so today really is truly just, yeah, are you growling at me? My dog's not happy that I'm not paying full attention to her right now. Come here. Come here. Um, so again, embracing the imperfection. Yup. She knocked over my camera. So yeah, definitely a theme. I'm gonna let her do her thing. Because what she's doing, digging into my blankets, is a natural response. So why shut it down? Why shut down our natural responses? Why shut down the perfect imperfection that we exist in? Um, yeah. She just reminds me to just not be so serious about it. And I love that. Um, okay, messages coming through. Astrologically, Pluto's been in Aquarius for a couple months now, and I feel like it's not a coincidence. I feel like I've shared this here on YouTube. Um, that it's not a coincidence that I hope y'all on YouTube can hear me because Gracie is licking the microphone right now. Um, that it's not a coincidence. I can't stay serious with her doing this. She's reminding me to laugh because I'm feeling this descent pretty intensely. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Aquarius made its move and its first shift through the planet that is the ruler of the underworld, that is representative of life and death and rebirth, and that divine cyclical journey that we all go through multiple times in our lives. Um, and I feel like so many people are talking about um, this awakening, right? And multiple awakenings, or I awakened in 2020, or I awakened in 2012, or, 2022. And I'm getting signs of there's so much noise. There's so much noise around this that I feel like the only thing I feel called to do is sharing my personal journey, and whoever is going to resonate is going to. Um, that, yeah, there's just this, this focus on ascending, this focus on awakening. And, like I said in one of my previous videos, honoring the descent is just as sacred. Honoring sitting with yourself in like the darkest aspects. Darkest not meaning bad, darkest not meaning less than even. One's darkness is like a dance between the ego and the soul, to a point where they intermingle and intermix in a way where it feels like they're not separate, like they're really not. Um and y'all, I might get emotional. This past week for me, I revisited really, really dark parts of past versions of me that literally just got brought up to the surface in such a real way that I almost felt like I was in a separate, like a different reality. Like I hadn't visited those places in me in so long. And it's almost as if I was introduced to someone that brought it all up to the surface and reminded me of what I'm choosing to be now, reminding me of what I'm choosing to let go of. And it was like this last hurrah of like really reminding me like what it means to really, like, it reminded me of what I really want in my life. I had all of these like external plans and things that I want, and they're not necessarily bad. It was just like the universe was like, if you rush this, like it brought the opportunity to me of all the things that I thought I ever wanted. And literally it was just like right there for me to grab it. And on the other hand, it was like, but you're going to have to sacrifice X, Y, and Z only in this specific situation. Not saying that, um, not saying that along my journey, um, that it's something that won't come in a different way. I'm going to go ahead and close my door. So with that being said, it really showed me that like the universe was like, this is not your time to receive this, even though, oh, it felt so like, oh, but it's right there. Like I can move to the state that I want to move to. I can live in a camper. I can like do all the things that I want to do. And the universe truly showed me, like, it asked me to listen to my gut, listen to my intuition, and to remind me that no matter how, has anyone read Women Who Run with Wolves? Um, the story of the red shoes, where this girl grew up, I believe, as an orphan, and like took like all this time to like create the shoes that she could wear. I'm like, she was barefoot walking around the streets, and it took her a long time to like find like random pieces of cloth and tools and resources to make these tattered red shoes. And she loved them. They were her prized possession. They are what made her who she was, and um reminded her of her journey and like how far she had come to like actually have these shoes that she's always wanted. And then um this wealthy woman came along and took her under her wing, and she began to live with her, and she threw out her this little girl's tattered red shoes. And um I have to like remind myself why I brought this up. Okay, yes. um and when she was presented with these new shiny shoes, um even at first, when they were in the shop together, the woman was trying to get her to get like these shiny black shoes. But the woman was kind of like, she was her eyesight wasn't the best, and she was kind of hard of hearing. So when the individual working behind the counter like pointed at these red sparkly shoes and was like, "Well, look at these." Um not only was the little girl faced with the grief of losing her tattered shoes, the pressure to wear shoes that someone else wanted her to wear that didn't quite resonate with her, as well as this shiny new pair that offered so much. Um, it was in the way that she might have even deceitfully tricked this wealthy woman into purchasing these shiny shoes that yeah caused her to relish in this. It's like I'm processing it for the first time with new eyes since reading it. Is that she went around in public, and people were staring at these red shoes like, oh my gosh, like they're so not of the norm. And she relished in that and loved that. It's But she felt like something was missing. Like her tattered red shoes is what she worked towards. It's her creation. It was part of her. And in relishing in these new shoes that came along with no hard work, nothing of her soul, um and nothing that was part of her journey that really um that caused her to one day dance. The thing is that she couldn't stop dancing to a point where it was out of her control that she'd be dancing forever. Um, Kind of almost like giving like performing monkey energy. Like, does that make sense? Where like she just continued this dance in these shoes that she thought that she really wanted and thought that she liked. I have all these written channeled messages, and like this is actually what wanted to come through. I love these videos for that very reason. Um, and yeah, what she thought she had always wanted was not what she had created, and she didn't really honor herself in a way where the simplest things that she appreciated, she was veered away from. And when she put these shoes on and like assumed this role in a way, um, it's almost as if like she was in performance mode, so much so that she lost herself. And I felt like I was on the precipice of making a decision that would have been throwing away my tattered red shoes and picking the shiny red shoes and being a performance monkey. Like literally, like you're in my brain right now. Like that's kind of how I was thinking, reflecting on it anyway. And like, or keeping my tattered red shoes. and being so grateful that this is where they got me, and continuing to honor the perfect imperfection that my tattered red shoes are. And that's me. Like, that's my journey. No matter what comes into my life, I will always remember my tattered red shoes. For me, my tattered red shoes are foraging for the first time, learning, not having a lot of money, and just um the beauty in finding the flower that I needed the most during that time, an anti-inflammatory purple um nettle leaf, and really working with the earth, and like being thankful that, like, even when things seem so desolate and bare and without, it's in fact the very opposite. And that the earth will always provide, that spirit source will always provide. And it just reminds me that, like, as much as I may have thought that I wanted those things, that the universe has a plan for me. And that I'll receive what I need to when I need to receive it. And something in me said, like, you know, these things may come. I have more I need to journey through, and to learn, and to navigate, and different environments that I'm being called to be in. Um yeah, I found that the individual who was kind of almost like putting these red sparkly shoes in front of me, was someone who would also be playing a part in sacrificing my light and dimming my light. And I just couldn't do it. And I'm more proud of myself for that. I don't care what I lost. I don't care what opportunity didn't come through. It wasn't meant for me, because my intuition told me, like, you can't sacrifice your light. Your light is your gift. You are the gift. And if you're hearing this, you are the gift. Your light is your gift. And honoring your descent, the absence of light, is also a gift, because it's in sitting with ourselves in these really dark times. Because I tell you what, like, this past weekend, I really have no words. Like, I really revisited such darkness. Nothing I thought I would ever be around or face. And as the Lunar New Year draws to a close, and we approach this new moon in Aquarius, with the sun also in Aquarius, I feel like I'm not the only one being tested. As an Aquarius sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Lilith, that regardless if you have Aquarius placements, there's this collective energy that is asking us, begging us even at times, to honor the perfect imperfections within us, and our uniqueness, our unicorn energy. Um, that if you say something and it triggers someone, babe, it's probably supposed to. If you say something, that same exact thing, and it attracts someone, babe, it's supposed to. It's not up to you who's drawn to you and who isn't. That's the thing. When you start speaking from your soul, that's when surrender really is one of those learning lessons over and over again. That's just like, yo, surrender to the fact that there will be people who you thought you were going to be in your life forever that are going to leave. They might come back. It's in the peace of knowing that honoring your soul, and I'm moving through that too. I'm moving through shifting from a way of providing financially for myself that does not honor me. And I'm really being faced with like so much unknown that it's really testing not only my patience, my intuition, it's also testing my ability to stay grounded, because moving through the fears of like safety and stability and all the things that the root chakra is about, all the things that the Kundalini, the year of the snake, is about, like it's really revisiting the things and the fears and moving through the fears of like, what fear do I need to face that tests my belief on safety and what that brings, and what I'm doing now, I feel like is only temporary safety, that it doesn't offer long term nervous system, immune system safety. And like that is like my basis, is like I check in with my body, my spirit, my soul, my emotional body, and like all of them being connected is like what the nervous system is. Like the nervous system is going to tell you what's up. And it's not always necessarily a bad thing. It's just it's literally just like a telegram. I don't know why someone needs to hear telegram right now. Of like just signals. Just it's like just communication. It's not like something's like, I feel like it's also kind of about like self-talk throughout that process, because moving through autoimmune chronic illness since 2020, I feel like I've truly navigated the inner critic, being like, I hate you, body. Why are you being like this, body? And like shifting my talk to like what I say to myself. Thank you, body, for telling me what it is that I need to focus on. Pain, pay attention inside now. All of those things. So should I get to what's been coming through this past week? If you're seeing hawks, that's been big. Today has been blue jays. Like use your voice, yo. Like your voice is needed. Not only that, but with the throat chakra, I uh-huh, confirmation for um with blue jays, I also see it as like throat chakra energy too, where like practicing um listening, which I felt like I was strongly called to do this weekend, because my ego was highly triggered this past weekend, and there were a lot of times where I patted myself on the back and was like, wow, old Macy would have popped the off on that person. And I'm proud of myself because I felt like I could hold space for myself long enough until I felt like I could come back into regulation to then um communicate with compassion. But the thing is about communicating with passion is I had to listen. I had to listen first, not in a way where I was waiting to say the next thing, which has been a journey. Because yeah, if you're an Aquarius, you know, or a Gemini or a Libra in any way, you know. Um, so that was not easy. Um, and in that, I will say that communicating with compassion doesn't mean that it doesn't come with some fire sometimes. So I know that I've been working with my fire chakra, and that it is um my life's journey to understand, embody, and embrace my inner fire, my creativity, my passion without burning the house down, and learning how to just keep the house warm. Um, yeah. So that was a big learning lesson this this past week. Um So multiple times I heard this came in, which is crazy. This came in a few days before I visited this person who I thought, like, my entire, reality was about to shift, which I sense that it still is. It just wasn't the right time. Or wasn't the right environment. Maybe let's say that. Not the right time is not the words I wanted to use. So yeah, a few days before this all happened, I kept hearing I've got to sing it because I know it's by Nancy Wilson. It's my love has no ending, my love has no beginning, my love has no end. I'm in the middle, and I can't help loving you. That was coming through, and then I randomly see it on the same commercial, like in a row, 4 days later. I've never heard that song on a commercial before. It's old. It's like, I mean, not old, but it's like from the 70s or 80s. So that keeps coming in. A lot of love energy coming in, and what I felt like initially it was like unexpected love, romantic or platonic. And now I feel like it's this, like, no matter what I'm faced with, it's the self love. There may be other love coming in. There may be like collaboration, um, vibe tribe energy coming in, romantic. Yeah, maybe. Confirmation burp. What's up with that? I found myself being resistant to that when I heard it. And yeah. And I feel like ultimately what this is for me, regardless of what comes through, is a love story between me, myself, and I. And I feel like it's kind of been that way. Um, and surrendering to the fact that whatever else kind of love wants to come on in, that the sacred union between my self love, between me and myself, is me and the divine. Like, I feel like that's what a lot of this Aquarian energy is like, it starts off in the planet of the underworld for a reason. Um, because the ascent can't happen without the descent. Um, that Aquarius is truly asking us to love every part of ourselves. Um, so that when all of this great stuff comes, that void doesn't feel like it's there because, like, you've already sat in it. You've already literally, like, when I think of the void, I know this is gonna sound kind of like, but like Insidious, because that is one of my, like, uh, lowest vibrational, darkest kinds of energies that I can think of. Taking a breath with that. And because I dream a lot and I definitely feel like mhm, whatever's going on internally, mentally, subconsciously, like worlds are created from that in dreams. So created and destroyed in a way. Not really destroyed though, because energy can't be destroyed. Okay, yeah, welcome to my brain. Um anyway, so I think of that. I think of like just blackness and then this like fetal human that like slowly starts to radiate like this golden glow inside of them first, and then it grows and then it expands outside of them. And like the darkness is still there. It's just that like they're glowing. And I feel like this is what the descent feels like, visually, at least for me. And also, I imagine like being at the bottom of the ocean and and rising up to touch the surface, where on the other side there's a U on the surface, and like just touching fingers. Although I sense that anyway, that's from an album cover that I love. So yeah, I kept hearing this song, loving energy. Um, just lots of bird energy, hawk energy, which I feel like for me is like inner power, inner strength, will, inner fire, which I feel like we're being called more than ever to like just push the boundaries when it comes to just authentically being us. Like, go and say what you need to say. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it comes from the heart, then it will be seen. And if it's not, it's not meant to be seen at this time. Um, like I did a channeled message, about something I was super passionate about, and like hardly any views. And it's not about the views for me. It just shows me like what messages were meant to be heard in some way, shape, or form. And truly, even the ones that had low views, these things are domino effects. Who knows how many people I'm affecting? Like, I really don't even feel like views are substantial in, yeah, in determining like my worth, number one, and just like how many people I'm actually reaching. There could be 5 people watching just from one channel. So I don't know. Angel numbers I've been seeing: 101, 142, 777 a lot, 222, 212, and 123, and 1234. I don't know if any of y'all are seeing these. These are just confirmations. Whatever your voice repels and whatever it attracts, it's meant to. Um, oh, this randomly came up, and it's so crazy because like this is a dream that I had. It's so interesting. The more I channel these things, um, my dreams keep coming into these channeled messages because I feel like other people are supposed to hear it. They're supposed to hear at least my interpretation of it, and then it'll connect the puzzle pieces. Oh, it'll connect the puzzle pieces for them as it will. So I feel like I may be sharing more of my dreams. I feel like my dreams have been a huge part of like whatever calling. Like I feel really, really, really strongly about them. My dreams have always led me. And it's like I feel like I've lived so many different lives because when I go to sleep, I go places. There is not one night where I don't remember where I've been. It's very rare that I don't. And it's interesting because 2 nights in a row this weekend, I didn't remember where I went. And I know that's because I veered away for a little bit from my soul. And I'm moving through feelings of shame around that because I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be. It was a really big lesson. Um, so I'm gonna share this dream. Um, I see my grandma, and she passed in 2011, right before the big 2012. Yeah. And when I think of people passing, sometimes I feel like they were meant to leave at that specific time, in space, that energetically like things were shifting into 2012, and like she had lived on this earth exactly for the amount of time she needed to. And as much as I didn't want her to go, being 19, it was time for her to go. And it was almost as if like I had to find her again, in the spirit realm. And her presence has been very strong with me these past few weeks, especially. I mean, I've seen her consciously for the past 3 years, but there's something big happening in my life, and she's been so present. So I felt like I had to share this dream. I don't know why this specific one. I mean, I have so many, Um, so here it is, and I feel like it really resonates with how the Age of Aquarius and honoring our unique thumbprint unicorn snowflake energy that we are. Um, so we're all dressed up, and my grandma, weirdly enough, does not have her strawberry blonde, like she used to call it Macy in a bottle because our hair, like before hers turned gray and white, it was my color. And so it was weird because her hair was like, you could tell it was dyed, but it was like kind of like if you've ever seen Futurama and you see Fry and Leela in the alternate reality and their hair, like they're the exact same, but Fry's hair is, instead of red, it's brown, and Leela's hair, shoot, I forget what color, but it wasn't purple. Maybe it was black. Um, yeah, it was weird. And I kind of felt like that, where I saw my grandma's hair and it wasn't like Macy in a bottle. It wasn't strawberry blonde. It was like a brown color. And so immediately I was like, okay, for me at least, I see that as just an alternate timeline, alternate reality in which he's still alive. And she was dressed to the T like she always was, but like extra, like something big was happening. We were like trying to be presentable. And my grandpa was there, my mom was there, some family members, and we're all walking. And we're like taking this journey to go somewhere, and we're like trying to be presentable, okay? Um, and we get to this bridge, and I'm the one, I'm leading my family on this bridge. And so we're on the bridge, it's good, it's stable, like it's all good. And then all of a sudden, like we're in like a marsh kind of area, and the bridge just is completely broken, and it's underwater, but you can see in the distance that the bridge goes back up from the water, and it's perfectly fine. If we get into the water, we're going to mess up our clothes, and we're going to get wet, and we're going to get dirty and grimy. But we'll get to the other side if we do. And I wanted to go through the water. Like I was a little concerned about like messing up it was almost like we were like in church clothes, or just like really nice, like we're about to go to an event kind of vibe. And I say church clothes because like I was kind of seeing it from the perspective of my grandma and my grandpa, who like would get dressed to the T for things like that, almost like an Easter Sunday or like a Christmas evening mass kind of vibe. I grew up Catholic. um, Not that that matters. Don't even really feel like we need to tap into that right now, but honoring each person's belief systems. I myself feel like all religions lead to the same place. I forget what word that is. Regardless, labels really don't matter. Okay. um, yeah, so I'm like, okay, guys, like, yeah, let's go into this water. Let's go. Like, we can do this. I was like, the bridge is like right there. Like, we can get to the other side. And everyone else wanted to turn back around. And for me, I felt like I saw that as like a water for me is emotions. Water for me is like divine feminine, places that people don't really want to tap into. It's like uncomfortable. At the same time, once you do, it's freedom. And it's like the messages that really wanted to come through with this dream right now. Like this happened months ago, but I feel like it came back to me in my thoughts yesterday because it's like we're being asked to go through the grime, the dirty the dirty, muddy marsh water that moving through the descent is, that moving through hurt, moving through pain, moving through emotions that are not easy to revisit. That in doing this, you come out the other side and you're on the other side of that bridge. You may look freaking disgusting, okay? But who cares? Embracing the perfect imperfections. I feel like it's in such alignment with these messages coming through these past few weeks, with the sun finally in Aquarius, um, it just keeps telling me. It just keeps telling me, like, dude, yo, be dirty, show up gross, show up with your dogs barking, show up with your kids screaming in the background, like, just show up. Because the messages that you have to show and tell people, they need to see them, they need to hear them. No one wants to see like a perfect fucking version of someone on Instagram and Snapchat or Facebook. There's enough of that already. So why not just show up as yourself? um why not? Why not? The people who are meant to come will come. And if no one does, it's just in the fact that you're bringing your inner to your outer, just like we breathe, that is the freedom. Like literally just doing this is freeing me. It doesn't matter how many people see it. I just feel called to share it. What else wants to be here? Yeah, there may be people who want to turn around and not cross that bridge. There may want to be people who you thought were going to be along on this journey with you and be willing to get into the murky, muddy water with you. And some people are going to turn around because they don't want to get their clothes dirty. They don't want to be seen as dirty. And the thing is that like, that's only their perception. It's not really actually being dirty. It's just being free. It's being authentic. It's being who you are. Allowing that process allows us to process, freeing us from the bond of emotions and allowing us to allow them to move through us. Like, I really, really, really needed this today. I had to talk about what I moved through this weekend. Because I could have let it keep me down. I could have gotten down on myself and told myself that I took 2 steps back. But really, I feel like the universe was just showing me and reminding me of what I didn't want. And what I'm really honoring is my light. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everyone has a gift. I know some people are like, oh, yeah, like mediums have that gift of, channeling past loved ones or channeling spirit or, you know, people having certain clairvoyant or clairsentience and things like that. And the thing is that like all you have to do is just focus on what your gifts are. Because like when I like to think of people's gifts, I think of I didn't even listen to Beyonce, but for some reason Beyonce wants to come up. Like that is her gift. Like her voice is her gift. Um Chantress Seba, if you watch her on YouTube, like that is her gift. Like her voice is her gift. I feel like my voice is my gift right now. Um my dreams, the things that come to me, the way that I experience life, I meant to share it. I meant to share the lens in which I experience life. I know that the world needs it. I'm not here to push my agenda. I'm not here to fix or change anyone. I feel like I'm super passionate about sharing the way in which I see astrology and planets and the stars because it helped me navigate through my darkness and my depths and my descent the first time I went through it. And coming back into my body after 25 years was fucking scary because my body wasn't a safe space for that long. So, like, going in and out for quite some time was a process to move through. And it was just reminding me connecting with the planets really was like my cradle, my safe space, in a sense where the stars really reminded me who I am. And I'm on this continuous journey. So when I look into someone's natal chart, I don't just read them everything. I only read what I feel like comes through for them at that specific time because for me it didn't all come through at once and it still isn't. I'm only meant to know and experience what I'm meant to know and experience when I'm ready for it. And so for me, the first things that came through was connecting to the moon. For me, humans not so badly, so want sometimes to like put a word to something or a diagnosis to something and things like that. It can be helpful. And then eventually, sometimes, in my experience, can be detrimental. Why do I say that? Because when I was diagnosed with manic depressive bipolar disorder 7 years ago, um, it was like having a name for it was super helpful for me at first. Like it helped me like bear with me as I change my video. Ooh, someone's calling me. Um yeah, it was like okay, I have a name for it. Now I can choose what to do with it. And then when I was feeling like, I mean, throughout my journey, getting off medication, slowly but surely, eating what my body really wanted and taking care of my physical body, I got to a point where my soul and my emotional body was like calling out to me. And the tools and the resources came. Um, okay, so I connected with my moon first. And for me, it really gave me a lot more understanding as to my intense, also, yeah, I'll use the word intense, intense connection with the moon. Um, intensely beautiful because the moon is our emotions, it's our subconscious. And if that shifts every 2.5 days, y'all, I was feeling it. And I didn't know how to explain it for most of my life that, like, for 2 days I would feel this way. And then the next two, I would feel completely different and not understand why. And the more I've tapped into astrology, like, truly, the more I've been able to understand my emotions, not in a way where I look at like my astrology app and I'm like, oh, the moon is in Leo, like it's going to be like this. Like, no, it's really more like, okay, I'm feeling this way. I check and it confirms. Before I even knew anything about anything, something kept coming to me that kept saying 28 years, 28 years, 28 years. I'm like, okay, cool, 28 years. What? So what? And eventually it came to me that I was moving through a Saturn return. I didn't know anything about any of that. It was just, it came to me. And I know that that's how it is for a lot of people when they begin to connect with whatever they're meant to connect with. I know that this is part of my gifts. And I know that other people's, what that may look like, sound like, and be like are going to be different for each person. And I honor that. I just know that in my experience, like when I began to connect with the moon, I started to be more at peace with who I am. It wasn't to excuse certain things. It wasn't any of those things. It really helped me understand that I'm here to integrate some of these energies that may be more difficult. Leo, especially, because I mean, shoot, I'm an Aquarius. It's the complete opposite of of my sun energy. And it's also my wounded healer. So it's definitely an energy that I continue to integrate and embody because like I'm here to embody my fire. Um, I only have fire in my Chiron and my descendant sign. It says so much. It's like, oh, you want to find your fire, Macy? You got to go into the depths of the underworld to get that. So it makes me laugh because it's the things that I feel like, yes, I move through fear with these energies. At the same time, I sense that there's a freedom in digging into the depths of the earth and into the underworld to go and get it. Um, yeah. So then it was my Saturn, and that was fun. Because if anyone has moved through a Saturn return, like I just feel like, I mean, it's not just the planet of restriction and structure, it's the planet of karmic lessons. And what a fun time that is. Um, hmm And then, and I'm only kind of moving through this journey so that people can understand that, like, if you ever do a breathwork session with me that's in connection to your natal astrology chart, we're going to move through whatever calls out at that time. Because, like, I'm not here to delve into my Uranus and my Neptune yet because they haven't called out to me. Yes, I'm highly curious, and sometimes I like moving into the future because like it kind of feels like that sometimes working with astrology. But I really kept getting a lot of signs and signals from the universe like slow yo down. Um be here in the now with the energies that are here that you need to integrate because they're going to keep on coming up if you don't. Not in the sense where it's like a teacher slapping me on the wrist with a ruler. It's more just like, dude, enjoy, like bask in this energy. And so right now, after moving through kind of and continuing to connect with moon energy, which is grandmother energy for me too, um, and my Saturn, then it like I feel like my sun has always really called out to me too. Mercury, Pluto. Pluto's been huge. Um, moving through like what that energy is and letting it be here for as long as it wants to be. And honestly, I feel like it's always going to be here along my journey. Um, kind of almost like when you learn the ABCs and you're like, okay, I know how to like form sentences and words and all that stuff. Like that's kind of how the moon is for me. It's like, okay, yeah, but it's still always there and you're still always going to use it, right? You're still always going to be connected to it. Um, so now I feel like it's my Jupiter in tandem with Pluto, which is interesting because Pluto can sometimes feel like not complacent, but like a stuck feeling, especially if there's something to move through in the descent. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion. And honestly, I feel like I'm only touching the surface with it, that like I'm seeing it in like over here, but it's still a feeling that's right here. Like I'm on my way to it. That it's not like separate from me, it's not far off. It's really just an energy that's like slowly coming in like that, you know? So I'm honoring the Plutonian energy that this is because I mean, shoot, we've got 20 years with Pluto and Aquarius, so strap on in. I feel like this is the beginning of a completely new paradigm, a completely new reality, and we've been getting trickles of it for a while now. I mean, sure, I've only been alive since the early 90s. I feel like I connect with a lot of different timelines that are before me being here on Earth, and so when I reflect back in history, um, prehistory as well, um, and I only go like that. Why did I do that? It's the same. Um, yeah, that there have been trickles kind of leading us up to this point for quite some time, and that it's I feel like we're here to just embrace the fact that none of us are perfect, like, and that the systems that had been put in place to control as a matter of safety, um Feel that out. Be curious if that feels supportive to you. And that, just take this out right now. Because I'm moving through a lot of eyes on me, eyes that I know may not fully resonate. And guess what? Not everyone's going to understand at first, and some may never. You got to keep going because you know deep in your soul that what you're doing is bigger than you and that you're connected to so much more. The unseen, Pluto energy, the unseen. 144 as I say that. All y'all angels out there, like we are walking, talking angels. That does not put us on pedestals. That doesn't make us separate from people. That doesn't make us better or worse than anyone else. When you know, you just know. So know that I know you already know if you're watching this. Like, what am I saying? I feel complete in this channeled message. Continue to do you, continue to honor yourself. Um, yeah, yeah. I feel like it's in moving across that bridge in the murky waters, and the portal to everything that is in alignment is through the thing that we fear the most. And for me, at first, that was to be seen authentically. The more I do it, it's like I'm building that energetic muscle, that soul muscle that's like, yeah, keep going. Because it feels good. Follow the vibe. If it makes you feel good, follow the vibe. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. To everyone who is watching now and to anyone who will be watching this. Um, I honor the unicorn within you, the thumbprint snowflake energy within you. Thank you so much for being alive, for breathing, for being here, and doing what it is that you do. Until next time, y'all.